Hello and welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met, my name is Leah and I'm a collage artist from Canada. I work with vintage papers and today we're going to be using it for a collage challenge. The goal of this book is to get to as many countries as possible. It's somehow started all the way in Singapore and has made its way all the way to me. But let's take a closer look at the other artworks and the book. So I have a little project that I'm going to be working on today. I've been handed off from another collage artist the third edition of Paste It Forward. The concept is that each artist will make a page of this collage book and then pass it around to each person. I was passed it from someone who I met on TikTok, which is so cool, and I feel like this is just such a great way to meet other people through a network. So it has all the instructions in the book here, which is so cool. And then we can see some of the collage work that other people have within the book. I'm only the fourth person that this is going to, so it's not very full yet, but I'm really excited to add my page to it. This is also a smaller size than I'm used to working on, so I think that that's going to be a really fun challenge. The artist before me sent me this adorable little kit of collage pieces that I can use for it, so I'm going to try to incorporate one of these pieces into my piece. So let's start creating. So as I create, I wanted to have a little bit of a fireside chat with you guys about artists and their perfectionism. The reason this topic kind of came up for me was because this piece that I'm creating right now, the artwork that I'm making in this video, unlocked something deep inside me to want to try to make art that was less perfect. Now, for years, I have been an absolute perfectionist with my work. I will not glue down any piece unless it's absolutely perfect and it's good. As a collage artist, this is kind of an interesting thing. At the end of painting for the day, you could have a piece that you just want to cover over. But as a collage artist, I can just wipe away the pieces and be done with it. Never to have a trace of any of it. Now, before making this piece, as I said, I literally would not show anything that wasn't perfect. A lot of people, when they first see my work, they think it's photoshopped, like digital collage. I even get this comment in person when I'm at shows with the paper pieces right in front of them. I'm a very precise cutter and I choose my layouts very carefully. Not to mention, I work with extremely delicate papers. Some of them are literally 100 years old and decaying. I have to be super slow and gentle with these papers as I create. Now, there's nothing wrong with perfectionism, and for many artists, this is really their strength. But for me, I finally found that it was limiting the creation process for me. I created a mental box for myself. Obviously, they were all turning out quite different since they're different pieces of paper, but I kept ending up with finished works where I only used 2 to 3 pieces of paper. When I first started creating collage with these vintage papers, some of my pieces have 10, 15 pieces within them. I was worried I was reaching a point where I wouldn't want to create anymore. Lucky for me, there's a lot of solutions to this problem. I decided I wanted to start a junk journal. I felt so free creating something that didn't have to be perfect here. And oh my gosh, I wish I had started earlier. I feel like I almost enjoy my junk journal right now more than I do creating actual pieces. Isn't that crazy? I went from years and years of perfectionism to loving imperfectionism within days, it felt like. Something just finally clicked here. And for me, although I could never sell these pieces, they were really special to me. Maybe I was finally pushing my art style into something new as well. I've started using the negatives from my papers that I cut out, and somehow a few of them have actually sold at shows. So it's nice to see that the customers love it and I love it too. I just couldn't believe that something I thought that I would only love, customers loved as well. It was like making abstract pieces that people could feel something through, versus my regular work, which is pretty editorial. I also wonder where this perfectionism came from. I definitely do not have it with painting or drawing if I do either of those two mediums. It's only in collage. but I realize that's probably because I care about it the most. I actually see my potential as a collage artist. Even though we hear all these stories of famous people saying they thought it would be their worst song, for example, or something that people wouldn't like, it always ends up being the favorite, and it's just so funny because there's so many stories like this, but we always forget ourselves. I forgot to smooth out the bumps. I used a fashion magazine piece even. I usually don't dabble with newer pieces, but I was still able to stay true to my style. I wasn't used to using papers like this, so the papers warped a little bit, but for some reason, I finally just feel like I didn't care. If you're stuck in a creative rut, I highly recommend getting a junk journal. I know a lot of artists that have junk journals, which are basically just separate books where you make anything you want, use scraps, whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just basically like a drawing sketchbook. It can be any plain old book. I think it's just so good to have some sort of outlet where you're not trying to make something perfect. My pile of papers that I want to use for my junk journal has finally gotten bigger than my pile for actual pieces I want to make, because these little tiny pieces that are imperfect and probably would be garbage to other people are perfect for me. I've taken part in Collage now for a couple years. It's a challenge that takes place in February where you make a collage a day for the entire month. And somehow, magically, that challenge that was supposed to push you out of your bubble, because you're not supposed to be able to make something perfect every day, I took the time to make something that was great every single day. I think I completely missed the purpose of Collage. On the other hand, it's extremely impressive that I could make 28 pieces in 28 days that were high enough quality that they've become part of my product line and have sold at my art shows. Like many other things in art, nothing is ever black and white. And perfectionism is definitely one of those things that are in the gray area. We can't say that perfectionism is bad, and I'd argue we can't say perfectionism is good either. As artists, it's our job to find the perfect place right in the middle between bad and good, something that works for us. I've seen a lot of videos of people that are hyper-realistic painters trying to do something in 20 minutes that's more sloppy, just to push themselves. And it's important to note that if you don't want to be pushed, the challenge isn't going to work for you. And that's exactly what I think Collage was for me. I saw it as a challenge to have the most perfect work for as long as possible. Versus now, what I would really appreciate it for is trying to just create and push my style. For next year, I could totally see me absorbing these methods and just trying out 28 different ways to make collage. Maybe I try ripping papers up to make one piece, using the extra scraps in another one. I guess what I've learned through all this is that the end goal is not to make the best art every single time, but to take each new creation as a new opportunity to learn. Even seeing the other works in this book, it's inspiring to see the different hand cuts, the different methods, even the different papers that people have selected that I probably wouldn't have selected myself. But I love the pieces they've created. I guess they're all perfect in their own way. If you liked this video and want to learn more about running your own art business or about collage art in general, please like and subscribe I'll post a video every 2 weeks. Let me know down below what you want to see next. Thanks for watching!